Five-star SF Anthony Thompson narrows down to 7 schools. Imagine being a top-tier basketball prospect with the world at your feet. That's exactly where Anthony Thompson, a five-star small forward from the 2026 class, finds himself. This rising senior from Western Reserve OH has just narrowed down his list of potential colleges to a select 7, as revealed by his agent Nate Conley of Court 14. The schools vying for his talents include Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, North Carolina, Ohio State, Purdue, and Texas. But here's where it gets controversial. With such a prestigious list, which program will ultimately win his heart? Let's dive in. Anthony Thompson, hailing from Lebanon, Ohio, is not just any player. He's ranked as the number 8 overall player in the nation according to the Rivals industry ranking. Additionally, he's the number 3 ranked small forward and the top player in Ohio. His journey so far includes unofficial visits to Indiana, Michigan, Ohio State, and Kentucky. Before trimming his list, he also received offers from powerhouses like Auburn, BYU, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Georgetown, Louisville, Kansas, and more. Thompson has been quite vocal about his recruitment process. In a recent interview with Rivals, he shared his thoughts on several of the schools pursuing him. When discussing Indiana, he mentioned, "We've been in talks a lot. Coach Adams, Coach DeVries, all of them. I'm starting to build a good relationship with them." For Kentucky, he noted, "They're very involved as well. They came to visit me and kind of just told me how big of a priority I am for them with my versatility and my shooting and stuff like that. Obviously, it's a really storied program, a really good program over a lot of years. It's a blue blood." And this is the part most people miss. Thompson's appreciation for the storied programs like Kentucky and North Carolina highlights his respect for tradition and legacy. When it comes to Michigan, Thompson praised the coaching staff, saying, "He's a really good coach, a really smart coach. When I went to visit them, I really liked the coaching staff up there." For North Carolina, he echoed similar sentiments. They are another very storied program, a blue blood program. Coach Davis has been preaching how big of a priority I am for them too. Ohio State, being his home state, holds a special place for him. He mentioned, "They said I can be a big-time player there, being an in-state kid and stuff like that. Stay home and do great things." Lastly, regarding Texas, he shared, "He recruited me at Xavier, so just following up with me in that recruitment and continuing to tell me how big of a priority I am for them. Obviously, I built a good connection with them at Xavier, so it has kind of carried over at Texas." But what exactly is Thompson looking for in a college program? In another interview with Rivals, he outlined his priorities. "I want to play for a person I connect with, a coach on the court, but also off the court. I feel like that is the best way to succeed on the court, is to play for someone you really connect with and really get to know them." He also emphasized the importance of play style, saying, "I'm going to look at the play style and their plan for me. I've played a small forward role my whole life, so that is what I'm most comfortable with. I think it allows me to best open up my game inside and out, but I can play however the coach wants me, in multiple different styles. So I'm going to look at the play style and go somewhere I'm comfortable." So where will Anthony Thompson ultimately land? Will he stay close to home with Ohio State? Or will he be drawn to the storied programs of Kentucky or North Carolina? The basketball world watches with bated breath. What do you think? Will Thompson's decision be based more on tradition and legacy, or will he prioritize personal connections and play style? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Ohio State basketball. 5-star recruit Anthony Thompson's impact. In the ever-competitive world of college basketball recruiting, few things are as crucial as landing a top-tier talent to revitalize a struggling program. And this is where the Ohio State Buckeyes find themselves today, in desperate need of a spark to reignite their once-proud basketball tradition. The Buckeyes have had a rough go of it over the past 3 seasons, missing the NCAA tournament each time and leaving fans wondering if they'll ever reclaim their former glory. Last season, under first-year head coach Jake Diebler, the team experienced what can only be described as an epic collapse, a year that Diebler and the program are eager to put behind them. Now, with the future hanging in the balance, Diebler is focusing on bringing in fresh talent to turn things around. However, there's been a setback. Dorian Jones, who was expected to bolster the 2025 class, unexpectedly lost eligibility to play for Ohio State. This makes the 2026 recruiting class even more critical for Diebler's long-term vision. But here's where it gets interesting and potentially game-changing for Ohio State. On Thursday, the Buckeyes received some much-needed good news. Anthony Thompson, a 5-star recruit ranked as the 8th best player in the 2026 class and the top prospect from Ohio, included them in his final 7 schools. For a program trying to rebuild its identity, being in the mix for a hometown hero like Thompson is nothing short of monumental. Hailing from Hudson, Ohio, and attending Western Reserve Academy, Thompson stands at an impressive 6'7", with a wiry yet athletic frame weighing in at 185 pounds. While he might not yet have the bulk typically associated with elite players, his skill set speaks volumes. His shooting ability is off the charts. He can drain three-pointers and mid-range jumpers seemingly at will, and his massive 7'2" wingspan gives him immense defensive potential. In short, Thompson has all the tools to become a dominant force on both ends of the floor. However, landing Thompson won't come easy. The competition is fierce, with blue blood programs like Texas, North Carolina, Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, and Purdue also making the cut. Among these powerhouses, Ohio State arguably enters as the underdog, given their recent struggles. Over the last 3 years, the Buckeyes haven't exactly inspired confidence compared to their rivals, raising questions about whether they can convince Thompson that Columbus is the right place for him to develop. If Ohio State manages to secure Thompson's commitment, it would mark a significant milestone for Diebler's tenure. Not only would it represent his biggest recruiting win so far, but it would also make Thompson the first 5-star recruit to join the Buckeyes since D'Angelo Russell back in 2014. Imagine the impact someone of Thompson's caliber could have on revitalizing the program. With his versatility and scoring prowess, he could help shift the narrative surrounding Ohio State basketball entirely. And this is the part most people miss. Recruiting isn't just about adding star power. It's about building momentum. A commitment from Thompson could signal to other recruits that Ohio State is serious about competing again. It could create a ripple effect, drawing in additional talent and helping the Buckeyes rise back to prominence. So, let's pose the big question. Can Ohio State overcome the odds and land one of the nation's top recruits? Or will the allure of those perennial basketball giants prove too strong? One thing is certain. Thompson's decision will shape the trajectory of multiple programs, including Ohio State's. What do you think? Should Ohio State fans be optimistic? Or does the competition feel insurmountable? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Kentucky Wildcats in the running for top 2026 forward Anthony Thompson, 5-star recruit update. Breaking news that could redefine Kentucky's future recruiting landscape. The Wildcats have muscled their way into the final 7 schools vying for one of the nation's most coveted 2026 forwards, Anthony Thompson, and every rival fan base is suddenly paying attention. Thompson, a sleek 6'7" southpaw out of Ohio who tips the scales at roughly 185 pounds, isn't just another highly touted teenager. Rated a 5-star prospect by 247 Sports and slotted at number 9 overall in the class, plus the outright number 1 player in the Buckeye State, he projects as the kind of perimeter scoring, long-arm defender that championship programs are built around. In a move that instantly generated buzz, national recruiting insider Joe Tipton, on 3, reported that Thompson has pared his list to 7 schools: Kentucky, North Carolina, Purdue, Ohio State, Indiana, Texas, and Michigan. Translation: the blue blood arms race just heated up, and Mark Pope's first big recruiting splash could be moments away. But here's where it gets controversial. Kentucky hasn't snagged a single commitment in the 2026 cycle yet, having recently missed out on gifted guard Jason Crow Jr. Skeptics argue that Pope, still carving out his identity after taking the reins from John Calipari, may struggle to land elite talent early on. Supporters counter that making Thompson's final cut proves the new stack can punch at heavyweight level right away. Which narrative wins? That depends on what happens next. The next domino could be an official visit to Lexington. Although no dates are on the calendar, Thompson did swing by for an unofficial in January and reportedly left impressed by Rupp Arena's atmosphere and Pope's player development pitch. Securing an official visit would give Kentucky a crucial 48-hour window to show off facilities NIL opportunities, and the path to immediate playing time. Think of it as a high-stakes audition, one that could either solidify Kentucky's position or allow another contender, such as hometown Ohio State or tradition-rich North Carolina, to surge ahead. And this is the part most people miss. Thompson's game isn't just about filling up the box score. Yes, the youngster can score in bunches and shoots with feathery touch from well beyond the arc. But coaches love his defensive upside even more. With his length and lateral agility, he projects to guard multiple positions. Exactly the switch-everything versatility today's college coaches crave. If he rounds out his frame and polishes his handle, NBA scouts will inevitably come calling. Still, diverging opinions remain. Some observers insist Thompson is leaning towards staying closer to home with Ohio State. Others whisper that North Carolina's storied wing tradition might lure him to Chapel Hill. Meanwhile, Purdue, Texas, Indiana, and Michigan each provide unique selling points, ranging from engineering school prestige to a guard-friendly offense. So where does that leave Big Blue Nation? With an enormous opportunity and equal pressure. Landing Thompson as the very first pledge of the 2026 class could snowball into a monster haul, cementing Pope's credibility on the trail. Missing again, however, might embolden rivals who claim Kentucky's recruiting mystique left with Coach Cal. Now it's your turn. Do you believe Mark Pope will close the deal, make Thompson the cornerstone of his 2026 class, or will another powerhouse steal the spotlight? Could Thompson's defensive upside outweigh concerns about his relatively lean frame? Or will he gravitate toward a program with a longer track record of producing NBA wings? Agree, disagree, or have a hot take of your own? Let's hear it.